Hi everyone, Guy Klender here, and welcome to Unsealed Lite. Today we're going to be taking a look at Spider-Man homemade suit by Hot Toys from the film Spider-Man Far From Home. Now right here, I love the box art on this. This is nice, bright, vibrant colors on there. You've got him in that suit reflected in the helmet from Mysterio. What's really neat is that smoke effect is actually inside the helmet itself. So once you remove this outer slip cover, all right, once we've taken the outer sleeve off, we have the inside box. And this is giving us great artwork on the inside. Bright, vibrant colors, again, in those reds and the blues, but also that green and the whole nightmare vision that Mysterio gives to him. Now this artwork actually continues on the inside when you open the box, and we see Mysterio up top controlling that vision. And this was such a wild scene in the film, and it's really neat to see what they've done here. On the side, we have Spider-Man's logo. We have our credits, again, some of that pixelation, and then here and here, we see kind of the logo of Mysterio as well. And that artwork that we saw that wrapped on the inside also wraps onto this side here with this other hand. So let's open the box and see what we have inside. All right, here we are. Now, as always, we've got some instructions that are going to be on the inside for us here. And it is a two-tiered tray. On the top part of the tray here, we're going to have the action pieces that attach to the base, as well as his additional hands. On the inside, our dynamic stand, his swap-out eyes, 2 additional wrist pegs, all of our webbing. Underneath the figure is going to be the base, and then we have our probe. So let's start to remove all of these out of here. First up, let's get to the big accessory, the probe here. Now this has some decent weight to it. It is a hollow piece. However, it does have a good heft to it, okay? And that's going to help with when you have the figure on it, which I think a lot of people are probably going to want to pose it this way. This is when we see it in the film when they actually arm and they completely open up with all of the gun turrets and stuff underneath. We see that you'll see there on the front, and then on the very front here, that bright green, they would almost look as though they are lights. This is not a battery-operated light piece. This is just the paint of the figure is that bright, and really brings it to life. We've also got the kind of red blinking light up on top. Excellent close-ups here, thank you. Because these things fly around and get bonked with stuff, you do have the scraping and scratching and pitting there. Look at the metal and the way they've done the texturing and brushing on all of the armaments on the front of those cannons there. Here is the back as well. And then we also have all of the underside with all of the little fans that keep it hovering. Now you'll notice that there's no large little porthole or anything like that for me to attach it to the stand. This comes with a very special stand attachment that is going to go right in here. We're going to get to that when we pull out the dynamic stand and talk a little bit about that. But I'm going to set this off to the side for a moment, and we're going to jump into taking a look at the figure. All right. Here we are, right out of box. Today I decided to wear my Sideshow hoodie because, well, this character here wears a hoodie. This is how he's featured in Spider-Man Far From Home. And this is where he is told, "You're just a scared kid in a sweatsuit." What they've done, if you've seen this character before, this has actually been upgraded and some very, very good changes on there. First up, the changes here on the eyes, okay? I told you that in the top tray, you're going to have the swap out eyes. What they've done now is these are done magnetically, okay? So they'll go right in. And when I put those on, it's both a little peg that it goes around and magnet that holds it into place. Now that's kind of the mid open as far as the eye. You also have a very tight semi-closed and then a bright wide. We'll swap those out in a little bit as well. Down here, you get the bright vibrant color, the kind of slightly faded that, you know, perhaps he when he was creating a suit for himself, either did it with spray paint or maybe with a Sharpie, and that's the way it is done there. Now that's not how they made the figure, but it is kind of the neat idea of how exactly did Peter make this suit. Down around the two tassels, they do have the little eyelet there that holds them from fraying out, and it is a functioning zipper as well. The neat part about having a suit like this, that is all the fabric, and we can kind of take a look at it from head to toe, is that the Spider-Man characters are very flexible, and we really want them to be, but we often concern ourselves with those tight suits that the character has. How long can I leave it in that pose? Am I worried about the suit? And with something like this and this sweatsuit, I can really get very, very creative and not worry about it. And we're going to talk a little bit more when we do articulation. But you've got those traditional Spider-Man colors of that red and the blue there. And then the textured on the socks. Now, everything on here nice and you know, smooth, and the detail on it is really pretty darn great. And it is a cut ankle, giving us a lot of motion for the feet. In fact, we've even now can move the foot upward, like so. With the inside, you can hear it click as I lift the toe up. It's another new one for this particular figure. All right. Now, let's jump to the base and kind of bringing this character a little more to life with it. On the lower part of the tray, this is what we have. The base itself, and this is done in the gloss and matte, so when it kind of, there we go, catching the light there, that it does the pixelation. You've got some passport stamps in the corners there from locations from the film, and then the homemade suit plaque right up at the front. There are two holders that come in the lower section, all right? Our traditional waist clamp, and then the special one that has been made for the probe. Now, the post is the thicker version of the dynamic stand posts. And that is because this will actually be holding two items. This is where I want to talk about how we're attaching the probe. There we go. Thank you. We're gonna close up on here. You should see it's got a little lip on that one there. You slide right in the underside here. There's a notch. You're gonna know where that is. It only goes in one way, okay? And then it kind of clicks into place. So it's going to attach on there like so. From there, depending on how you want to have it posed, if you wanted to have it completely inverted or something like that for your pose, you would just make sure that you mount it onto the stand that way. I'm gonna go with just a traditional straight mounting. The packaging does not come with a little screwdriver. They have perhaps in some of your others. But this is the one that I use that you've seen before. We'll just slide that down into place. You heard those click. How those dynamic stands are is a tiny little nut and screw. So I'm gonna hold this here to the side for myself for a second. So this, you're gonna go at a lower height, and then the traditional stand that we have, you'll mount above it. So I'm gonna mount this one right about here. Like so. Then you're going to take your other one and put that up top. So let's do that and lock that in. Now I tend to always loosen them all the way out so they're at the loosest point, so I'm not damaging or ruining that rubber when I slide it down on there. So temporarily, so you see what they're like so. So that's how our stand is with the two sections. Now, on your upper tray, we talked about that's where the hands come in. That is also where these pieces come into play. All right, and let's take a look at these. In your instructions, it's going to tell you how exactly you do these. This is just an additional way to enhance the base. Now let's take a look down on the instructions. You're going to see that what they're talking about up here is the little panels and how they attach, okay? You have an underside piece here, and this is the same shape as our base, and it goes on like so. What we do, so I'm just going to take out one of them for now. And here we are. Let the light pass through there and you see how bright and pixelated these are. These are a vacuum formed piece, okay? Printed on there that's going to allow the light to go through them. They are raised and textured, all right? Now on your instructions, it's going to show you each of the pieces in an A, B, C, D, and E, and which ones they are and where they will attach onto here. So I'm going to attach just one to get it going. Now you will be bending this yourself when you do it, okay? So you're going to be careful to do it, but we're going to give it a little bend here and go. All right. There we are. These push on to that underside. Okay. They grip on there nicely. And this allows you to kind of control the angle in which they will lay. As you can see, that just gives it a little bit more life. And you have 5 of those pieces that can wrap around. It just gives you a lot more display options. When you do put them on there, I'm going to show you there, you will feel a little bit of resistance when you push down on that, and that's keeping those in place. So they're not going to flop around there, all right? So let's take a look at Peter in his suit. Let's talk a little bit about how he can move. Now right up here, top head, we get that classic style. Now the fabric that's being used to cover his head this time is a little more felt-like, all right? Looks a little bit more lifelike, but make sure when you're moving that, because as I said, it's a soft felt, make sure you have clean hands when you're doing that. There we go. So you have great range of motion on that. Not only do you have the ball joint underneath down in the neck area, you have the additional joint. Arms can go quite high up. As far as shoulder, you can go 90. You can also shoot arms straight out. We have double joints at the elbow. We also have that the shoulder will move forward and backward. Again, that's what I like about this sweatsuit, is that, oh, this looks a little like a morning stretch, is that you get all of that range of motion, and I can do it and not be concerned. Now that we've got kind of both hands up, you do get an idea of the web shooters on each wrist, and then the little button on the inside of the fingerless glove, which is another neat idea. I like the fingerless glove. You got a good range of motion in the torso and chest from side to side, as well as downward, and then very deep in hip. All right, giving you a lot of bend motion. And this is what you're going to want in a Spider-Man figure, to be able to pose any way you like and have huge range of motion. All right, we kind of got him doing one of his back dives. We've got the double joint there on the leg. Goes back about 30 degrees and then forward to a straight out 90, like so. We'll also rotate, got the rotation on the leg. And then that ball joint that we spoke of on the foot, and then a little click you hear to do the toes. Since I've got that there, I'm gonna spin this around and show you. Now we have the fabric sock that is then gonna come down to the shoe here on a ball jointed angle, and that gives us a great look at our favorite tread watch. The tread on here is really pretty neat and definitely functional. I love this new point of articulation when it clicks in to do a bend on the foot. Seeing that from the side there then. It's just a little additional point of articulation that allows us to do just a little bit more with it. Now let's take a look at, you can do a full split with this character as well. Talked about the double jointed on the back legs. This is a little wild, but as you can see, you have tons of motion that you can do on him. Now let's take a look and throw him up here on said base. So we have the two-part base, the one that has the drone, and then up on top, our classic. Now this is padded in the middle there. What I would suggest do is kind of get whatever pose you'd like to have a little bit done before you throw it onto that. But because you will probably adjust the height of where you need your clamp to be. Just going to kind of quickly put them on here to show you how the two clamps work together, but also how, let's really show off that point we talked about that gives us a toe It's neat to have that little toe bend, gives us that extra little life on there. And this is where we see him kind of leaping and jumping from drone to drone and dismantling them. This is a neat one to do. All right, so let's take a look. We're going to pull him off the stand here, and we're going to talk about the next part, which is the swap out eyes and your interchangeable webs and hands. All right, so we're going to go back to the main tray and take a look at what we have with that. I'm going to set these all on our turntable, see which we have. We have both our right and left fist, our traditional Spider-Man fingered right and left, and a right and left in wall crawl stance. Fingers as such. All right, and those are going to go on the hands in the traditional peg style that you have. Next up, let's take a look at the different eyes that we have. All right, now the ones that the figure is going to come with on the figure are going to be the mid open. These are your wide, and these are your tight. Okay. There they are, like so. You can see the tighter version, the wider version. You'll see that on the inside they've got the little magnet and peg, so those will just swap in and out. Then we have all of our webbing. Now, some of this we've seen, and then some of them are new. Okay, we've seen these before. This is our kind of splooch that I like to call it. This one here has a little hole in there that allows you to add the additional straight webs, or this one here that is kind of the in fist. Now, if you're using this one here, it's going to tell you in the instructions, and I like when they do that, that when you put this in, there's the little hole in there. They tell you to not push down from the top, but instead, once you have it through, you pull from the bottom to lock it into place. So there we have the hand, like so, going out to the display, which you can attach onto the base or, you know, hitting the drone, like so. So we have that one. We have the other one that I like so much, which is our lasso. And that is also going to go into the hands here that have the hole. So I put the one in on top, one in the bottom. There we go. This is probably my favorite of all of the webs that they have done. I really like that one. And because this happens in the nightmare that Peter experiences, we've got these two here. And these are new and original to this particular figure, and that is when Mysterio is controlling this vision, the webs actually kind of turn into this odd smoky and blue quality, and these fit in the webs the same as the other. We have our large kind of in-flight bulb whip, and then we have the long straight. Now, the end cap, or what I call the splooch, fits onto either the handled one that we showed or this straight ones here. The webs do not link together to create an ultra long whip or anything like that, but they will go together like so. So then you have that one as well. So next, why don't we swap out some hands, swap out some eyes, and attach some webs and take a look at what we have when we do so. These are the neutral ones. I'm going to do the very surprised large open eyes, and they magnetically pop on like so. I'm going to then switch out for a web slinging hand. I'm going to insert one of my Mysterio ones as well. And as he would have probably gotten both, we'll swap out to the Mysterio one as well. So here we go with a little web action there that slide right into them. All right. So there's the new Mysterio's web. Then I'm going to swap that out. I'm going to have the lasso in the one hand, and I am going to do the elongated splooch on the other. We'll do our favorite, like so. These just happen to be the two web things that I like the most. Again, I love how the lasso looks, and there's plenty of ways to create in-flight on that, and you'll see that in some of the poser videos that we release. Let's take a look at how he's going to look on top of said drone. Pull up our base again. Place some in here. Crouch down and deep. Now, because you're going to be manipulating really two things on the stand, it's going to take you a little bit of time, but that's part of the fun, is all the different options that you can have with it. You'll be able to raise and lower the drone. You'll be able to raise and lower the waist cinch as well. I like the idea of his web is locked onto it as well. Kind of getting ready to punch and smash it, like so. With the additional hands and the swap out eyes and the improvements in articulation, you've got a lot more opportunities to bring life into this figure. Again, let's take a look. If we were to drop back down into the standard mid-range opening eye, take a look at that straight up on there. You see there's with the magnets, and they'll only go on one particular way. There's the inside shape of the eye, and the shape of the magnet will only go on one way, and you'll be able to tell. It kind of has the little wire. It's one super fun figure with just a lot of possibilities, and definitely a fun one to add to your ever-growing collection of Spider-Man figures. So from a two-part base with a dynamic stand, you've got the addition to create a little pixelization, that really nice drone, and then all the improvements in the figure, as well as unlimited posability because of the suit. This is one of my favorites. Spider-Man Far From Home homemade suit, 6-scale figure by Hot Toys. Absolutely beautiful piece. This has been Unsealed Lite. Thanks for watching. I'm Guy Klender, and don't forget to let your geek side show.
Hey, did you like that video? Be sure to subscribe by clicking the S icon on your screen and click that bell icon to be notified whenever a new video is posted. If you'd like more info on the items featured in this video, click the link provided under Product Info. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to let your geek side show.